Hello everyone. Today I will continue telling you the story of Sam and Officer Lee. I hope you enjoy watching the video. After all the upheavals had faded into the past, Sam's small house seemed to return to its original breath. There were no more sleepless nights filled with worry, no more unease when darkness fell too quickly, and no more tangled thoughts weighing heavily on the heart. Everything appeared to slow down, becoming lighter, as if time itself had learned to tread softly around this place. The dirt road in front of the house was still the same, narrow and scattered with pebbles, but now it no longer evoked a sense of loneliness. The garden behind the house was lush and green, with neat rows of vegetables, each plant bearing the marks of Sam's careful hands. The afternoons passed quietly. Sunlight rested gently on the leaves, a light breeze stirred the bamboo fence, and everything blended into a peaceful picture that Sam once thought she had lost forever. Although work at the police station often pulled Lee into long shifts, sudden calls, and unavoidable responsibilities, he still tried to keep a habit that required no appointment. Whenever he could, he would ride his motorbike toward that small house. The familiar bike stopped at the gate, the engine cutting off in the quiet space, a simple sign that he had arrived. Sam gradually grew accustomed to that sound, so accustomed that she didn't need to check the time or step outside the gate. Just hearing the bike from afar was enough for her to know Lee was there. Sometimes she smiled to herself, as if that small joy naturally blossomed in her heart without any reason. That afternoon, the sun was still harsh though it was already late. Sam bent down to tie the support strings for the newly planted asparagus bed. The young shoots were slender and fragile. A strong gust of wind could easily knock them over. She worked slowly and carefully, as if tending to something very delicate. Beads of sweat formed on her forehead, yet she showed no sign of stopping. Just then a familiar low voice sounded behind her. Not loud but enough to make her startle. "You've been working since noon. Why haven't you taken a break yet?" Sam turned around, seeing Lee standing there, his shirt dusted from the road and weariness lingering in his eyes. Her expression softened. She smiled lightly and wiped the sweat away. "I'm almost done. These plants are still weak. If I don't pay close attention, they'll all be ruined." Lee stepped forward without another word and quietly took the bucket of water from her hands. "Let me do it. Sit down and rest for a bit." Sam shook her head, her gentle smile unchanged. "It's okay. I'm used to it." Lee set the bucket down and looked straight into her eyes. His voice slowed deeper as if he were weighing every word. "I know you're used to it, but I don't want you to always carry everything on your own. I'm afraid. There will be times when you feel empty but don't say anything." His words made Sam pause. She stood still for a few seconds, then lowered her head. The afternoon breeze passed through the garden, carrying the scent of damp soil and young leaves. "I don't feel lonely," she said softly, "because I always know you'll come." Lee fell silent. His gaze softened and a very faint smile appeared. "Then I'll come. Whenever I can, I'll come." No more words were needed. They both smiled. A quiet smile, not loud or showy, just warm enough to soothe the old scratches still lingering in their hearts. The last sunlight of the day slanted over the garden, bathing everything in a gentle pale gold. Mike the dog ran out from the porch, wagging his tail excitedly when he saw Lee. He circled around them, barking softly in greeting. The atmosphere suddenly became livelier, closer. The three members worked in the garden together, each doing their part, saying little, yet peace spread throughout that small space. When everything was finished, Sam poured Lee a glass of cool water. He took it, his eyes never leaving her. In that moment, Sam suddenly realized that what made her feel secure was not the garden, not the house, but the feeling of having someone by her side. No grand promises, just quietly showing up at the right time. Days like that passed slowly, and Sam knew that from those simple, peaceful moments, something steady and profound was quietly growing within her. In the days that followed, the relationship between Duc and Oanh did not move forward with hurried promises or showy gestures. Everything unfolded slowly and silently, like a sprout taking root deep in the soil. No one spoke of it, yet both felt the other's presence becoming clearer and more essential in their lives. They grew used to having each other beside them through the smallest things. Sometimes it was just sitting close together on plastic chairs by the roadside, each holding a cold glass of sugarcane juice, listening to the sparse flow of passing vehicles. Duc didn't talk much, and Oanh didn't need to ask questions. But the silence was never awkward. It was warm and comfortable, as if they had long been familiar with each other's breathing. On some mornings they went to the market together. Oanh chose the vegetables, Duc carried the bags. She carefully examined each bundle of greens, each cut of meat, while he stood quietly behind her, occasionally murmuring, "This one's fresher." Their meals were simple, just a few modest dishes, but when they sat down to eat, Duc always slowed his pace, as if wanting to stretch that moment a little longer. Oanh noticed but only smiled, saying nothing. One evening the small kitchen glowed under soft yellow light. Oanh stood by the table, carefully chopping vegetables, her movements familiar and gentle. Duc sat nearby doing nothing at all, just watching her. In that light, Owen's face seemed softer and more peaceful, and he found himself forgetting about time. "Do you know?" Duc said at last, his voice slow and slightly hesitant. "Since I met you, I felt truly lucky." Owen paused, looked up at him, the corners of her lips curving into a gentle smile. "Why are you saying such strange things today?" Duc scratched his head as if to hide his embarrassment, but his eyes were completely sincere. "I never thought I'd meet someone like you. So gentle, caring for others in the smallest ways. You take care of me without me having to say anything. Sometimes it makes me feel protected." Owen turned away and continued chopping, but her cheeks had already flushed. "You're making me shy. You're not any less kind yourself, always giving in to me, even when I'm a bit difficult." Duc laughed softly, his voice growing lighter. "If it makes you happy, I can give in even more." In the days that followed, Owen's care for Duc became even more apparent. Sometimes she brought him meals during his work hours. When Duc opened the lunchbox and the familiar aroma spread, his eyes would light up, as if a whole day of exhaustion had just been soothed. He looked at the lunchbox, then at Owen, and said half jokingly, half seriously, "If you become my daughter-in-law someday, I think my mother will really like you." That seemingly casual remark made Owen freeze. Her heart beat faster, and her hand instinctively tightened around her bag strap. "You mean really?" Duc set his chopsticks down, his expression turning serious. He took her hand, his grip warm and steady. "I'm serious. I want to marry you. I want a home we share. A place where every day I return you're there. Even though I may have to go far away on assignment soon and might be gone for a while, my heart will still be here, with you." Owen took a deep breath. Her voice trembled slightly, but her eyes were firm. "I'm not afraid of waiting. As long as I know your feelings are real, I will wait." Duc looked at her for a long time, as if carving that moment deep into his heart. Then he said, slowly but decisively, "I love you." Under the warm yellow kitchen light, there were no flowery vows, no distant promises. Only two ordinary people choosing to trust and hold on to each other. And in that very simplicity, they understood that they had found the most important thing in their lives. That evening, Sam's small house was lit up earlier than usual. The atmosphere inside felt different, as if something important was waiting to be spoken. Diep and Oanh arrived just as night fell. Both of them stepped in with a hint of nervousness, yet the smiles on their faces could not hide the joy rising within them. Sam needed only a brief glance to understand. Own's eyes were brighter than usual, and Diep unconsciously held her hand tightly, as if afraid that letting go might cause this moment to disappear. Sam didn't ask anything. She simply smiled, a warm, nameless feeling swelling in her heart. Dinner that night was simple but plentiful. The four of them sat around the familiar wooden table. The soft clinking of bowls and chopsticks blended with the cool breeze drifting in from the porch. There was a brief silence. Then Diep set his chopsticks down and took a deep breath, as though he had been preparing for this for a long time. Lee, he began, his voice low but steady. "We've decided. We're getting married." The room seemed to freeze for a second. Sam stared in surprise, her eyes wide. Almost immediately, she jumped up and wrapped her arms tightly around Oanh. "Really? Oh my God, that's wonderful." Oanh smiled through moist eyes and hugged Sam back just as tightly. All the nervousness and worry seemed to melt away in that instant. Across the table, Lee looked momentarily surprised, then smiled sincerely. "I'm happy for you both. But a long-distance relationship isn't easy." Lee wasn't trying to discourage them. He was simply stating a truth they all understood. Oanh turned to Diep and held his hand even tighter. Her voice was firm, without hesitation. "I know, but I choose Diep." Diep looked at her with eyes full of gratitude and love. Lee watched them for a long moment, as if weighing something, then chuckled softly. "Then congratulations. You two make me believe in brave choices." Sam quickly wiped the corner of her eye, laughing as she teased them. "Come on, eat before the food gets cold. Such good news shouldn't come with an empty stomach." Laughter filled the room, dissolving any remaining hesitation. That night, the conversation lasted longer than usual. They talked about the wedding, about simple plans, about a future still undefined but warm enough to comfort everyone. The days that followed passed in a whirlwind of activity. Diep devoted nearly all his time to work. He volunteered for extra shifts to finish everything before leaving on a long assignment, while also arranging leave for the wedding. Though exhausted every time he thought of Oanh and the approaching big day, his steps felt lighter. At home, Oanh was no less busy. She wrote a long list and taped it to the refrigerator. Wedding dress, rings, flowers, invitations, photo shoot dates, meetings with both families. Each evening she reviewed every item, checking off what was done and revising what wasn't. Sometimes, too tired, she leaned back in her chair, sighed, then stood up and continued. Watching her, Sam felt both amused and moved. "You two look like you're preparing for battle, not a wedding." Oanh smiled, smoothing the paper on the fridge, her eyes full of determination. "I just want him to feel at ease at work. I can take care of everything here." During rare free moments, Diep stopped by to help Oanh organize things, try on rings, and review the guest list. Some evenings they simply sat side by side doing nothing at all, yet just being together was enough to soften all the fatigue. At the station, news of Duke's upcoming wedding spread quickly. Colleagues teased him, congratulated him. Some offered to cover shifts, others promised to attend in full force. Despite the heavy workload, his smile never left his face. Each time his phone vibrated and Owen's name appeared, the pressure seemed to lift, even if only for a moment. In those busy days, no one said it out loud, but everyone understood. They were stepping into a new chapter. There would be worries, challenges, distances to overcome. But above all, there was a clear choice and a strong enough faith to keep moving forward together. While Duke and Owen were bustling with wedding preparations, Sam and Lee quietly shared in that happiness in their own way. No noise, no display, just parallel steps, slow enough to fully feel each moment. One afternoon, Lee took Sam to a small neighborhood known for wedding gifts. The familiar road stretched ahead under the soft light of late afternoon traffic sparse, a gentle breeze carrying a rare sense of peace. Lee said they should choose a gift that was simple but lasting, like a blessing that didn't need words. They stopped at a clothing shop. Lee suggested Sam try on a dress to wear to the wedding. The dress wasn't elaborate, light in color, simple yet elegant. Sam stepped into the fitting room a little shy, but she went along with it. When Sam came out, Lee stood still for a few seconds. The light softened her features, her calm expression tinged with slight embarrassment, making him momentarily forget where he was. "It's very beautiful," Lee said slowly, his voice low and steady. Sam blushed and turned away, pretending to adjust the hem. "Don't look at me like that. It feels strange." Lee chuckled softly, but his gaze grew gentle, filled with unmistakable appreciation. He said nothing more, simply nodded to the shopkeeper, already certain of his choice. After that, they stopped by a small decor shop. Lee chose a rustic wooden photo frame with simple lines, while Sam carefully picked a few scented candles with a light, soothing fragrance. The gifts were modest, but every choice carried care and sincere blessings for Duke and Owen. On the way home, the sky slowly shifted into sunset hues. Sam sat behind Lee, lightly holding the edge of his shirt, watching the thinning stream of vehicles ahead. She spoke softly and slowly. "I'm happy that Owen found someone sincere." Lee nodded, his eyes fixed on the road. "I'm happy too." He paused briefly. "Because I see you happy." That sentence made Sam smile quietly. Without turning around, she could feel the sincerity in his voice. In that moment, Sam realized that the peace she felt didn't come only from the small garden behind her house or the quiet, windless afternoons, but also from the person silently walking beside her. Always there, without needing to promise anything grand. The final days before the wedding passed faster than all the rest. Duke and Owen barely had a free minute. They took wedding photos, chose flowers, bought decorations, and reviewed the guest list again and again. Though time was tight, everything was done with joy and anticipation. Sometimes they were so tired they just wanted to sit down and rest, but seeing each other made them laugh, as if renewed with fresh strength. One evening, riding a motorbike along a long, quiet road, the cool wind brushed against them. Owen rested her head against Duke's back, her arms gently wrapped around him. Her voice was soft but clear. "Even if you go far away, I'll wait." Duke tightened his grip on the handlebars, his voice lowering. "I'll come back. I promise." The road ahead was still long, with journeys, distances, and unnamed challenges. But in each of their hearts, the answer was already clear. When trust and love have been chosen, waiting is no longer something to fear. It becomes part of the happiness being built, day by day.
Xin chào mọi người, cảm ơn mọi người đã xem hết video hôm nay của mình. Chúc mọi người có một ngày mới vui vẻ, hạnh phúc và một ngày làm việc tràn đầy năng lượng. Hy vọng rằng mọi người vẫn sẽ yêu thích những câu chuyện mình chia sẻ và ủng hộ kênh cho mình, giúp mình có động lực để làm nhiều video hơn. Hiện tại thì mình đang viết về câu chuyện của người mẹ đơn thân Diệu và tự Sam. Nếu mà mọi người yêu thích thì nhớ bấm like, share, bật chuông thông báo để nhận thông báo khi mình đăng video mới nhất. Cảm ơn mọi người đã ủng hộ kênh của mình trong thời gian vừa qua và hy vọng vẫn được mọi người yêu thích trong thời gian sắp tới. Và mọi người nhớ chia sẻ kênh giúp mình để nhiều người cùng biết đến nha. Cảm ơn mọi người và hy vọng rằng sẽ được đồng hành cùng mọi người trong những video tiếp theo. Chào mọi người.